Okay, I'm here at the Locksmith shop. I just thought I'd do a video on supply houses. We use a lot of different supply houses, and I just thought I'd do a video in case you guys want some information on what supply houses are better and what supply houses are worse. So I got two stacks of books here. I got one that's general supply houses, and I got one that's specialty stuff. So we'll go over the specialty stuff first. The specialty supply house is a supply house that only deals in one type of product, like a manufacturer like M-Tech that sells directly to the customer, which is for high-end lock sets. Die-Bolt that sells directly to the customer for safe locks if you want die bolts. Turn 10, which specializes, they're out of Ohio, it specializes in just safes. And normally when you go through a supply house that specializes in one thing, you get a better price. Briggs & Stratton Automotive Locks sells direct. Normally when you go and get an account through a specialized supply house, you get a better deal versus a supply house that just carries everything. Now, all supply houses that carry everything are not equal. You get some supply houses that will sell not only to you, but will sell to the end user. I don't like to support those type of supply houses because essentially they're cutting your throat. A good example is like IDN Hardware Sales, which you're like, oh, I use IDN Hardware Sales. But the problem with IDN Hardware Sales, on the bigger customers, they will bypass you and sell directly to them, and it's happened to me. So I stopped using them. This is about 25 years ago. It was 1995. I was doing a big quote for a school district, quoting all the mortise lever locks inside of the place. They were ball handles. They wanted to upgrade to handicap accessible handles. So of course, IDN Hardware Sales was one of my main supply houses. We did probably almost $1 million a year with them. And so I approached them and said, you know, I got this big account. We're going to be quoting it. I want the best price on these lever handles. Lo and behold, now we were just selling them to the maintenance department of the school. Lo and behold, they sent the rep over there and bypassed us directly. We couldn't compete with our supply house, so they ended up selling the product directly to them. Well, of course, that left a bad taste in my mouth with them. Maybe about a year later, we were doing another quote for the county where you put in a bid, and basically what the county does is their maintenance department buys locks and door closers and stuff from whatever locksmith or whoever gets the bid. Well, the way the bid process works is you put a bid in how much below list you're going to sell to the county. It's basically how the bid works. So, you know, a locksmith, maybe you would say you want to be competitive, so you'd say 20% below list. You know, you're making about 45% above list. And IDN comes in and quotes it like 42% below list. So how can a locksmith compete with that? Of course, they got it, and then the year after that, because they quoted every year, an online company got it from them that quoted it. So I don't like dealing with companies that will undercut you. Now, if you're just small potatoes, you'll never see this, you know. But if you actually land a chance to get a bigger job, you know, wouldn't it suck if your own supply company came in and undercut you? So then I switched to US Lock, which aren't the best prices, but they have a cool app for their phone, cool app for their website. They have a pretty good catalog, and I switched to them, and pretty happy with them. One of the things, though, a couple years ago, maybe about a year and a half ago, Home Depot bought them out, and the company's totally changed. And I'm kind of not really happy with them either. A lot of products they're discontinuing. Their app has changed. Now it's trying to sell you Home Depot products, so when you type in a key number, a lot of times a refrigerator will come up. And on top of it, you don't really want to buy your locks through a company that's owned by Home Depot just because Home Depot is your competition. You know, so basically you're supporting your competition. by buying through them, I still buy stuff through them because there's certain things I get through them. But I've drastically cut it down. Herbert Flake, I really like them. I haven't had any trouble with them. They don't have a super large catalog, but they carry a lot of product. This is an older catalog here. I just grabbed a bunch out of my drawers. I tend to keep, well, that's Lockmaster. I tend to keep a lot of old catalogs because I like to look back on what they used to charge for an item compared to what they charge now for an item. I'm just curious how it changes. Speaking of Lockmaster, super great company. Definitely have to be a locksmith to buy through them. They don't sell to end users. They do sell directly to the government, though. So if you have government contracts, they will sell to them. Mainly their claim to fame is safe locks. They have recently beginning in, let's see if I got a newer version here, getting into a lot of automotive stuff, and they have relatively competitive prices on their automotive keys, and they're not too bad, and they carry a lot of the newer keys on here, Cadillac and the new fobs for the GMs and stuff. Not bad prices as far as that goes. Typically OEM keys, so they're good quality keys. But anyways, that is Lockmaster catalog. And so basically when you sign up with an account with them, they're pretty stringent. They want to make sure you're a locksmith. You have to send in proof that you're a locksmith, some kind of association card, ID card, business card, advertisement. They want to know all that. These other companies don't really require it. General is an offshoot of Clark, and I think Clark got bought out by another company. I forgot the name of it. But Clark's the same thing like IDN. They will sell to colleges, universities, to their maintenance department, so they're directly going after that line. And pretty much General is like their LSDA version of product, or US Lock version. All these companies have their own Chinese version of product that you can buy cheaper. Not a bad company, but again, they will sell directly and bypass you. So it's not my favorite either. I tend to like to deal with companies that will sell only to locksmiths. That's the point of it. And they say, well, they have a locksmith on staff. Well, I think they should go one step further and sell. They can't sell to end users. The supply houses can't sell to end users. It shouldn't matter if they're a locksmith on staff. It should matter if they're using it themselves or reselling it. Because if you're a supply house, it should be sold to somebody that's reselling it. Ulta just cuts everybody's throat. But I just thought I'd do a review on the different supply houses that I use. So I'm using Herbert Flake a lot more. I still use US Lock a little bit. They're not a bad company. I kind of have a bad taste. I don't like the Home Depot owns them. Lockmasters, I do love Lockmasters as far as safe locks go. Turn 10 ordering safes. If you're in the Midwest area, they're good. They offer free shipping over a certain weight. Not too bad. MTech is a great line, but they require you to have a shop in order to buy through them. So they're a little bit picky. Die Bolt, if you need something that's a die bolt exactly like a time lock or something, they'll sell right to you. You just got to open an account. Briggs & Stratton, if you don't already have an account, or Straw Tech, I doubt that they will set up an account now. I've had an account with them for 30 years, so I could buy direct, but most people have to order through a supply house to get through them. But we do have an account with them, so we save a little bit of money. If you could set up an account through direct through the supplier, you basically get it for the same price the supplier gets it from. So anyways, just thought I'd do a little review on different accounts and different supply houses. And anyways, I thought I'd leave a comment down below of what supply houses you like and what experiences you've had with different supply houses. I'd like to know. I always like to expand different suppliers I deal with. I don't like to really deal with one supplier. I used to deal with IDN only about 20 years ago until they undercut my prices and sold to the end user. So I tend not to buy through anything through them, And anyways, Steve from Steve's Locksmith Shop signing off.